So guess what day it is, guys? Yes, it is Lit Wednesdays up in here. So basically, I know that everyone here knows that I'm like obsessed with Chicago. I'm like a huge history buff when it comes to Chicago, and so I'm really excited because today I wanted to do a Chicago poem. No shit. I was born here, I live here, and I plan to probably die here. So I really love knowing how the city came to be about and, just kind of getting a glimpse at to what the city was in different times of history. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of incorporate for Lit Wednesdays was that whole things that I connect to. And it's not necessarily going to be Chicago all the time, but it's definitely going to be things that, pop out at me, that I can feel a connection with, that I can kind of relate and really get into, because that's just kind of really what this whole segment is about, is talking about different literature and how I interpret it. I mean, I hope you guys like this poem. I know it's a very old poem, and you guys are probably going to be like, no, we don't even know this poem, but it's a part of our history, and it gives you a different perspective, really, because the poem that I'm about to read to you guys today is called Chicago, of course, and it was written at the beginning of the 19th century, which is when, things were really different in Chicago. Basically, the city was getting built, so you can just imagine it's a completely different time. So we're kind of going to get a glimpse into that, into what people back then were really living, and that's why I really like this poem, and I really wanted to share this with you guys, because I definitely connect with it on a different level, and you guys have to remember that this was a different time. So taking that from this poem and just kind of applying it to what we're living in now, it's very interesting, and I'll talk about that more once I read the poem. So the poem is called Chicago by Carl Sandburg. Hog butcher for the world, toolmaker, stacker of the wheat, player with railroads and the nation's freight handler, stormy, husky, brawling, city of the big shoulders. They tell me you are wicked, and I believe them, for I have seen your painted women under the gas lamps luring the farm boys. And they tell me you are crooked, and I answer, yes, it is true. I have seen the gunmen kill and go free to kill again. And they tell me you are brutal, and my reply is, on the faces of women and children I have seen the marks of wanton hunger. And having answered so, I turn once more to those who sneer at this, my city, and I give them back the sneer and say to them, come and show me another city with lifted heads, singing so proud to be alive, and coarse and strong and cunning, flinging magnetic curses amid the toil of piling job on job. Here is a tall, bold slugger set vivid against the little soft cities. Fierce as a dog with tongue lapping for action, cunning as a savage pitted against the wilderness, bareheaded, shoveling, wrecking, planning, building, breaking, rebuilding, under the smoke dust all over his mouth, laughing with white teeth. Under the terrible burden of destiny, laughing as a young man laughs. Laughing even as an ignorant fighter laughs who has never lost a battle. Bragging and laughing that under his wrist is the pulse, and under his ribs the heart of the people, laughing. Laughing the stormy, husky, brawling laughter of youth. Half-naked, sweating, proud to be hog butcher, toolmaker, stacker of wheat, player with railroads, and freight handler to the nation. So first of all, as a history buff, I love getting a glimpse into the lives of people who were alive in the early 1900s. And then as somebody who is a Chicago history buff, I love getting a glimpse into what life was like in the city. So I wanted to kind of touch on the three things that stood out to me the most, or what my perception is in now times, which is the point of poetry. I mean, poetry, it's like a dance with words. Everybody can dance. So one of the main things that really popped out of me in the poem was the point of view. So reading the poem, you can tell that it was written by somebody who was, maybe a working man, somebody who was toiling day to day for the city, somebody who kind of sees a different side of the city, not all the glitz and glamour, somebody who's probably been beaten down even by the city, but even at the same time, this person has an extreme pride in the city too, because they're telling him all this negative stuff, and he responds in a way that's really typical of Chicagoans, even, because I think as Chicagoans we have this huge pride in our city, you know, our sports and our food and our, you know, everything that we do, we're like the best at. Everything that we want to do, we're the best at. And that's really kind of shows us that even back then it was kind of that similar feeling. And I think that a lot of people even nowadays would agree with that kind of dark reality of the beautiful cities. And then leading into that, the second thing that I wanted to talk about was the descriptions. In the poem, you know, you don't get much of a downtown Chicago feel. You know, it's kind of giving you a different perspective, and I like that because you're, you know, getting this idea that Chicago's this booming, bustling city, but you're not realizing that the people who are building the city are maybe not experiencing that kind of beautiful perspective. They're kind of just working day in and out. You know, even nowadays, you know, a lot of the people who are out there building our cities, who are building some of the most beautiful structures, probably will never get to enjoy them because they're, you know, they're far out of their budget, you know, to do so. So it was very interesting to get that dark contrast. What the third thing here is, or the tone of the actual poem. And in this sense, I do feel that the tone is a little bit dark because despite this person being prideful in Chicago, being prideful in how beautiful the city is and the opportunities that the city presents and everything, you're kind of taking on this realistic trip that it's a different city for different people. And these are guys who are probably just living off bread and water, and they're experiencing some of the beautiful sights that are in the cities that maybe other people that they know would not be able to, you know, see. And it's very interesting to see that this person is still very prideful of this huge, bright city, which is Chicago, which I think we all love the city. I think the city provides us all with, you know, different opportunities for, you know, everything. And that's definitely what this poem relates. And I think that is what we can definitely take away from this poem. So I love poetry because, again, like I said, I feel like it's a dance with words, and some people just they dance so much better than other people. So I just love the way that some people kind of captivate that. But if you're any kind of writer, I mean, please send your, you know, material to me, and I'll definitely take a look because I love reading. I love reading anything. So again, thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to doing this again. Bye.